Welcome to Beyond the Classroom. I'm Kendra, and today we'll be talking about DNA, what it is, and how we can see it. Let's start by going over our materials. You will need rubbing alcohol, salt, water, about 3 strawberries, some dish soap, some measuring cups and spoons if you don't already have some, a glass or a small bowl, a funnel, a tall drinking glass or jar, a cheesecloth, some sealable plastic bags, a smaller glass jar, and a bamboo skewer. Now that we've gone over that very long list, let's go ahead and get started. The first thing we need to do is put our rubbing alcohol into the freezer. We need it to be as cold as possible when we're ready to use it. The next thing we need to do is mix our extraction liquid. To do this, you're going to mix 1/3 cup of water, pour it carefully into your bowl, with 1/2 teaspoon of salt and 1 tablespoon of dish soap, and give this a nice good stir. We'll talk a little bit more about this mixture and what it does later. Next, set up your strainer by putting a funnel over a tall drinking glass or jar and line it with your cheesecloth. That's all set up, so now it's time to smash some strawberries. Go ahead and remove the green tops from your strawberries if you haven't already, and put them into your bag. Try and squeeze out as much of the air as possible from the bag. Seal it up, and start smushing the strawberries with your fingers. This might take 2 to 3 minutes. While we're squishing these strawberries, let's talk about DNA. DNA stands for deoxyribonucleic acid, and it determines everything about a living organism. Almost all life on Earth has DNA. It's a molecule that contains biological instructions that makes every organism on Earth unique. Everything about you is determined by your DNA, from your eye color, to your hair texture, to your height, and even what illnesses you might be susceptible to. Strands of DNA are housed in every cell in the human body, specifically in the nucleus of the cell. And every cell in an organism houses DNA. Considering that humans have at least 10 trillion cells in their body, and each cell nucleus holds around 6 feet of DNA, that's pretty incredible. In your body, you could have up to 10 billion miles of DNA. Normally, you can't see it without a very strong microscope. But if you gather enough of it together from, say, 3 squished up strawberries, you can see it with your own eyes. But to do this, we need our extraction liquid, and that is our next step. Once your strawberries are nice and liquefied like this, add your extraction liquid to the bag and start to squish them again. And you're going to want to squeeze out as much of the air as possible. The dish soap in the extraction liquid is going to destroy the cells in the strawberries, including the nucleus where the DNA is held. And the salt will help the DNA clump together once it's outside of the cells, making it easier for us to see it. When that's all mixed together, pour the liquid from the bag into the cheesecloth and let it filter through. This process might take a while, and you may need to help it along by gently squeezing the cheesecloth. After that's filtered, pour the liquid into a small jar until it's about 1/4 of the way full. You might end up using all of your mixture, you might only use a little bit. Okay. We're almost done. Now we just need to take our rubbing alcohol out of the freezer and measure out 1/2 cup. Tilt the jar and very, very slowly pour the rubbing alcohol into the strawberry solution. You're going to pour it until there's about a 1-inch deep layer on top of the strawberries. And be as careful as you can to not let the 2 liquids mix. Once you see some translucent strands rising to the top, bingo bango, you've got strawberry DNA. If you dip your skewer into this, you should be able to pick up the DNA and take a closer look. I hope you enjoyed this experiment. If you want to try it with other things like kiwis or bananas, go for it. If you're interested in learning more about this topic, be sure to check out some of these items. Cells Up Close by Maria Nelson. The DNA Book from DK. Building Blocks of Science, Traits and Heredity by Joseph Mithun and Samuel Hitti. I'll see you next time. Bye.